Hello and welcome back to another podcast editing walkthrough. My name is SP and I am from GonnaGeek.com, which is a podcast network. And also on that network, I have several podcasts, one of which is Better Podcasting, which is a podcast dedicated to help the hobby podcaster. I also co-host and produce a podcast called Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. on the general Marvel universe. And that's important because that's what we'll be working with today. Now, I've been asked by multiple people how I edit, so I went ahead and I created these video walkthroughs so that people could start to learn how do they edit by watching me edit. Now, I stream these videos live on my Twitch stream, which you can find at twitch.tv/Stargate Pioneer. Then I go ahead and upload the videos to my YouTube channel for long-term storage, which is Stargate Pioneer Edit Walkthrough. I edit using Vegas Movie Studio 15.0 Platinum, and then Audacity. The process is I do a video edit in Movie Studio. I export a FLAC audio file, which is a lossless audio file, and then I insert that or upload that into Audacity and do an audio edit for the podcast alone. Now, the video edit is for YouTube. The audio edit is the podcast. And let me tell you right now, the podcast is by far the more premium product out, and it's the one that everybody actually listens to. So that's what we got there. In this video, I will be editing Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. episode 261, recorded on November 4th, 2018. And as a spoiler alert, we do talk about The Punisher episode 5, which is called Gunner. And if you don't want to be spoiled on that, either skip this, go on to the next video, but it will talk about Punisher too. So your best bet is to go back and watch The Punisher and then come back and watch this YouTube video. My status so far is I've completed the video edit. I've completed over half of the audio edit on Audacity, and I have loaded all the tracks up, and I am far down the road right now. I'm on the home stretch, so to speak. I hope I'm able to get everything done this video, but if not, I will stop with just a little bit left to go. My editing philosophy changes a little bit in Audacity versus Movie Studio because I don't have to worry about the video cueing, the mouth moving at the same time that the audio is. So I perform a truncate silence function or edit or effect, and that makes the audio file shorter. And then I actually go in and I'm capable of editing down to the discrete points of the waveform in Audacity. And that makes a lot of other things possible. Can I do something similar in Movie Studio? Yes, but it's just not as precise. And also, I only have one audio track that I'm editing here. I've already taken out all the crosstalk in Movie Studio, so it's literally just one track here in Audacity. So it is multi-track because I create other tracks just to house the audio in different places. But in a sense, the actual podcast talk from the co-host is only on one track. I might actually have to go back in and replace minor sections of audio, like 8-10 seconds of audio, by going back into Movie Studio, and maybe there's something I just didn't catch the first time around, and I go back into Movie Studio, I make that correction, and then, or maybe it's an audio edit that I want to make that I'm not going to keep with the video version. In any event, I make the correction. I actually render that little short file, and then I come back and insert it. I have not done that yet in this particular episode, but I plan to do that anywhere from like 0 to 3 times per episode. It just depends on how well I take care of the video edit. So if you have any questions along the way and you happen to be watching live on Twitch, go ahead and put your questions in the live chat and I'll go ahead and answer them. If you're actually watching this later when I upload it to YouTube, leave a comment down below and put a timestamp of the actual YouTube video, not the episode that I'm editing, to where I know what you're talking about and I can go reference it as well and give you a better answer. Finally, if you have any suggestions on a way to do things better, let me know, because I am completely open to it. I am not a professionally trained audio engineer. Everything I've learned over just a simulation from doing it from other YouTube videos and from other podcasters. So if you have a different way to do it, you're like, oh, no, SP, you're doing it way wrong. how about you do it this way? I will change how I do it, and I will share it with the class, and then we can all get better in our editing. As you can see, this is the Audacity file. What I neglected to do at the end of the file, at the end of the video last time, is when we started on the main segment, I said, remember how long this was? And it was 33 minutes, 4 seconds after I truncated silence. After I edited all that length there, I moved it down to 32 minutes, 10 seconds. And that leaves the length, which used to be at about an hour, it is at 57 minutes. So I've already knocked off about 3 minutes. I think I will be able to knock off at least another 2 minutes before we're done with this. So the length of the audio talk should be up to about 55 minutes on this when we're done, but we'll see exactly how long that is when we get done. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and edit the feedbacks or the news segment section. Now remember, this was the news back on November 4th, 2018. I doubt you're going to get spoiled on this, but I just thought I'd let you know. So here we go. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this track. I'm going to do it by using a Control+I as the short key for that. And then I'm going to use the move tool, the time shift tool, to break that apart just to make sure it's not going to move with it. Then we're going to go back to the selection tool. I'm going to double click the track left of the new section. And then I'm going to use my shortcut for the truncate silence, which is Alt-T. I do the truncate silence at 0.85 seconds of the duration and truncate 2.85 seconds with a detect silence level of -40 dB. That should work because my noise gate is working at -30. So anything below -30 shouldn't be there. So it really should be silent at -40. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK. Just remember the length here at 10 minutes, 53 seconds. And we're going to truncate that to 9 minutes, 53 seconds. So that was another minute taken off right there. I'm going to select over here because I needed to get closer. I needed to zoom in. And now that I'm zoomed in, I'm going to go ahead and move it on over. Now I do a crossfade in and out by overlapping the audio. And we're going to see if I've done it to where I want it. I'm not as familiar with this bump because it's been eons since I've used it. But we're going to play it and we're going to fiddle around with it for a second. So here we go.
Well, we have some news items this week. We're going to start with the streaming service.
Okay, so this news broke earlier and I screamed because this is everything I've ever wanted. Falcon and Winter Soldier limited series in the work with Empire writer. I'm so happy. So a while back, this was after Winter.
I think we can tighten that up a little bit.
Oh, a while back.
I think we can take out the UU.
So happy. So a while.
Oh, and then there's something else. I used the Control+L to create silence there.
I'm so happy. So a while back, this was after Winter Soldier. No, it was after Civil War came out. A bunch of people were.
Okay, there's two things we can do here. We can go ahead and cut that so it just says Civil War.
Back. This was after Winter Soldier. No, it was after.
I think I'm going to do that in this case because I don't want to confuse my listener. She says Winter Soldier, but then she says Civil War. Let's just keep it at Civil War. And she doesn't correct herself later, so we can go ahead and keep that as short as we can for the listener.
Back. This was after Civil War came out. A bunch of people were like, because of, the interaction between Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan, who are actually really good friends and a fantastic double act should you ever catch them at a convention together. Oh, they should just have like a buddy comedy where they just hang out and riff off each other. Well, they look like they're going to be having a show together on the upcoming streaming service. The writer is going to be, let me find the name. Malcolm Spellman.
Right, that's 4.6 seconds. I'm going to give back to my listener. Just going to delete that and we're going to see what it sounds like.
Here is going to be Malcolm Spellman, who, yes, also wrote Rights for Empire.
Also Rights.
Who, yes, also wrote Yes, also wrote, writes. Yes, also writes for Empire.
All right, generate silence. We're going to do one, see if that works.
Yes, also writes. Malcolm Spellman, who, yes, also wrote, writes for.
All right, we don't have to go back and forth as much, but I'm going to take a couple of those out.
Yes, also wrote, writes for Yes, also wrote, writes for Empire on Fox, and also wrote the screenplay for. Also wrote the screenplay for the feature film Our Family Wedding. So yeah, pretty good writer. So yeah. Wedding. Yeah, pretty good writer. And seriously, these two are a fantastic double act. It being a limited series means it shouldn't wear out its welcome. Just a nice, fun show of these two kind of like a cop drama, I'd imagine that. Show of these two kind of like a cop drama. Of these two kind of like a cop drama, I'd imagine, that buddy cop feel of them being like the reluctant partners, like the Lethal Weapon Riggs and Murtaugh feel, I'd imagine. Oh God, I'm just so looking forward to this. Just them kind of bouncing off each other, being bros and like antagonistic bros.
I like how they labeled it a limited series, especially after those viewers on the Netflix streaming series that might have felt a little bit betrayed about the cancellation. That might have felt a little bit betrayed about the cancellation of Iron Fist and Luke Cage. So at least they know this isn't meant for a long haul. It's going to be a limited series.
Kevin Feige also discusses the streaming channel.
Yeah, this actually broke on the Mary Sue just while we started recording. Again, discussing the whole Winter Soldier Falcon thing and the standalone series for Loki and Scarlet Witch. Feige said, "We are going to tell stories for the streaming service that we wouldn't be able to tell in a theatrical experience, a longer form narrative. That's what comics are. It's about as long form a narrative that exists, but also maintaining that theatrical experience, which is our bread and butter." And he also mentioned the importance of representation, especially with regards to Black Panther. He mentioned the importance of diversity both in front of and behind the camera, which is very important. It's just a really interesting interview. So yeah, check it out.
Basically,
just check it out.
So yeah, check it out.
Basically, Kevin Feige is the Marvel sniper, so you know, whatever he wants goes, basically.
Chris Evans and Paul Bettany are obsessed with something.
Okay, do either of y'all follow Mark Ruffalo on either Twitter or Instagram?
I follow him on Instagram, yeah.
Okay, did you see this picture of teenage Mark Ruffalo the other day?
I did.
It's for the Throwback Thursday.
There was a ton of comments and likes on it, yeah.
Okay, it is a picture from October 25th of teenage Mark Ruffalo. So awkward. I mean, braces, just he's very clearly growing into his face, awkward hair, you name it. Adorable in a really dorky way. And it got commented on by his coworkers. Paul Bettany on Twitter, #new profile pic. It is indeed his new profile picture. And then Evans came at it. Chris Evans said, "It actually makes me furious that I can't hang out with this kid." And then Mark Ruffalo said, "It actually makes me furious that I can't hang out with this kid," bringing in pictures of young Chris Evans. Y'all remember the whole back circa the early 90s, late 80s, those pictures from, school picture day with the lasers in the background?
Yeah.
school picture day with the lasers in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's one of Chris Evans with the middle part bowl cut, where actually he looks like a friend of mine from elementary school. And then, yeah, Chris Evans again added, clearly I could elementary school. And then Chris Evans again added, clearly I could have used the friend. Also, I changed the form on the way to school and checked the laser background box instead. Sadly, it didn't have the effect on my social standing that I had initially presumed. So I just love these people interacting on social media. It's so fun.
And what does Chris have to lose at this point? He's done. I mean, he can't give anything away about Avengers 4, but aside from that, it's just time for him to have fun.
He's absolutely a pro follow on Twitter, by the way. He's so fun. He is a good dude.
We have news about the PG-13 release of Deadpool 2.
We talked about it before, right? That they're planning to re-release Deadpool as a PG-13 version to take up the spot that was going to be, I forget what movie it was going to be in that space initially. But we had mentioned, okay, they're going to have the Princess Bride-esque framing device with adult Fred Savage and Deadpool reading him the story. But that's not going to be the only thing. According to /Film, the writers revealed that while the story won't be different than the R-rated version, it's going to have some added stuff. Ryan Reynolds recently suited up and shot a bunch of new footage for the.
This is called, I don't know what it's called. I'll call it a redirect, where you start talking with one word and then you go completely off into another sentence whatsoever. So it makes sense to get rid of that one word.
Some added stuff. Ryan Reynolds recently suited up and shot a bunch of new footage for the movie. After Deadpool 2 came out, we were all sitting around. We came to it a little less about the idea of let's make a PG-13 movie and more, let's talk a little bit about Deadpool. Ryan had a great framing device and we all got excited and went to the studio. They said, yeah, let's do it. Fire up the cameras. About 2 months ago, we were out on the sound stages shooting again. Ryan was in the suit and the gang was back together. About 2 months ago, we were out on the sound stages shooting again. We were out on the sound stages
versus out. I don't think I can cut that. I mean, I might be able to do this. I don't know if that'll.
2 months ago, we were out on the sound.
Yeah. I could possibly get that somewhere close, but I'm just not going to spend the time with it. I think it's fine the way it is. This is a case where you can say, okay, natural speech is fine here.
About 2 months ago, we were out on the sound stages shooting again. Ryan was in the suit and the gang was back together. So I'm really curious. I know, okay, pardon me. Really curious. I know, okay, part of me is. I'm really curious. Okay, part of me is like, it's just a money grab. But then I know I'm going to go see it because I want to see what they're doing. And plus, I'm a huge Princess Bride fan, so of course I'm going to. Come on.
The creativity of the Deadpool team, including Ryan, is just phenomenal. And I think it's worth going to see. Yeah. Phenomenal. And I think it's worth going to see. Yeah. Okay. Money grab, but it's going to be great. And then, of course, I can't wait for all the Deadpool cameos once. I can't.
All right, I'm just going to say this right now. I can't say it in the actual podcast, but I heard this when I was doing the video edit, and I cringed. I might have said something about that as well back then. Stan Lee passed away 1 week after we recorded this. So even if I would have edited it and gotten it out in 3 days, that comment would have been really sore when it came out, because he passed away on November 11th. We record this on November 4th. Usually, at the minimum, it's going to take me about 3 days to edit a podcast. So, like, if we recorded it on Sunday, I'd get it out on Wednesday. People would have downloaded Wednesday night. People would have downloaded and started listening on Thursday. So then 3 days later, Stan Lee died. It just, I have to cringe about this I'm kind of glad it took me so long to edit this, because it would have been too fresh at the time. And here it was before Stan Lee passed away, but I'm releasing it after, and it just hits a lot of people the wrong way. So I'm going to leave it in because I can explain it later. Like if I get a comment or something like that, I can explain it both on Twitter and on a future podcast. But that's close. This would be something that I would consider removing if it wasn't so far taken away from the actual event. So if you have real life events happen and you say something in your podcast that might poke too much into it, you might want to consider taking that content out. Like I said, I'm going to leave this one in, but because actually we've talked about this very thing before that I'm about to talk about. But I seriously, when I heard this the first time, when I was editing the video, I cringed. So I don't know. We'll see how this turns out. You might get back to me in 2 months and say, hey, SP, nobody said anything about this. It's just fine. Or I might have lost a couple of dozen listeners over it. Who knows? If you're watching this video and you are a Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. fan and this rubs you the wrong way, I apologize. But I think it's harmless enough that I'm going to leave it in. And if you disagree, please let me know. So here we go.
Come on.
The creativity of the Deadpool team, including Ryan, is just phenomenal. And I think it's worth going to see. Yeah, okay, money grab, but it's going to be great. And then, of course, I can't wait for all the Deadpool cameos once we no longer have cameos from Stan Lee. You know, it's all going to be Deadpool.
Deadpool is just like I went to see Venom. We were talking about this right before the show. I went to see Venom just before we recorded, which, by the way, is a wonderful romance comedy, completely misadvertised. And it's so we misadvertised.
This is one of those cases where the denoiser and the noise gate and everything have just acted to destroy that breath sound. Oh, I'm just going to take it out because it sounds bad.
Completely misadvertised. And it's so we were talking about how.
Actually, I'm going to tighten that up a little bit.
And we were talking about how there's some critics that have called it like Venom is basically a t-shirt character in that he was one of those mid-90s characters that you wear the logo on your t-shirt. And there's not really much to him beyond that. And it's up to a good writer to find something to do with that character. Deadpool was sort of the same way for a long time. And recently, in the past, I don't know, 5-7 years, Deadpool has kind of been revived as a fun character again.
See if I can take out that kind of.
Deadpool has kind of been Deadpool has been revived as a fun character again. So hopefully Venom kind of does that and brings Venom back.
Kind of is a crutch word that I like to take out when I can.
That and brings Venom back to being more than a t-shirt character. Although I think with the whole Agent Venom stuff in the comics, he's been kind of fun again. But yeah, Deadpool's just fun again. Ryan Reynolds.
Ooh.
He's been. But yeah, Deadpool's kind of fun again. But Deadpool's just fun again. Ryan Reynolds just brought so much to the role. It's been great.
Speaking of Ryan Reynolds, his bromance with Hugh Jackman continues.
Have either of you seen these videos that were released by him and Hugh Jackman?
Yes. Oh my goodness. I love the fake political ad Ryan Reynolds did, especially we're close to election day right now as we record this. And we're hearing these things all the time.
Election ads, I think we can all agree, are the worst. There's a good reason that during state election times, well, first of all, I watch Cartoon Network and the
Take out that double word.
Well, first of all, I watch Cartoon Network and the
All right. So this is a great example of a tonal shift.
I watch.
Might be able to get away with doing that, where I'm kind of hitting it at the beginning of the word. This might work.
Times. Well, first of all, I watch Cartoon Network and the Cooking Channel relentlessly anyway, but especially during election season because they don't run local election ads. Right now, what this is Hugh Jackman is in a politically themed film called The Front Runner, and Jackman's performance is rumored to be award-worthy, and Ryan Reynolds does kind of a political hit ad on him.
I don't think I could take the kind of out here.
Does kind of a
maybe.
Does a political
No.
Does kind of a political hit ad on him. It's pretty fantastic. To which Hugh Jackman responded, "High road." And it's a short video of his dog taking a poop on a picture of Ryan Reynolds dressed as Deadpool. Just these two, y'all, these two. Just as Deadpool. Just these two.
We can get rid of the it's there.
Ryan Reynolds dressed as Deadpool. Just these two, y'all, these two.
Always a good time with those two. And Hugh, like Chris Evans, is now out of the Marvel universe. Those two. And Hugh, like Chris Evans, is now out of the Marvel universe, at least for now. So
let Hugh Jackman eat.
I think I could take out that so. Universe, at least for now.
Let Hugh Jackman eat cheeseburgers 2018.
He gave us a great ride, and especially a phenomenal last movie. Really enthralled with that one. And also Patrick Stewart's last movie, too. All right, time to get into some feedback.
I'm going to go ahead and take that out. I hate announcing the transitions as I do them, and I kind of do them because I'm producing it and I'm fumbling for the actual bump that I want to play, and then I got to get my cursor to the OBS switching panel so that I can go to the next panel in the switch and stuff. I wish I didn't announce segments, maybe that should be my 2019 goal. Don't announce segment changes. That is going to be it, because I've been working on so all year. And I'm going to continue to work on it, but announcing the segment changes. For those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, over on Better Podcasting, we're doing a thing in 2019 on what is one thing that you would change with your podcast after listening to yourself, and that is one that I'm going to try to do. All right, now I'm going to go into this. Where is it? News End. Go. Holy crap, that's going to be loud. So -6. I've just learned to take out some of the gain on these bumps. Otherwise, it's just going to come in too strong, too loud. On the next is the feedback. I'm going to go ahead and break that track. I'm going to slide this one over. I'm going to use the selection tool, double click on that portion of the track, and I'm going to use Alt-T to bring up the truncate silence. Before I do that, 6 minutes, 1 second. And that truncates to 5 minutes. So I take 30 seconds out. It's 30 seconds of silence in that whole thing. That's a lot. Of course, some of it is the space of the bump on either end. But that comes out in the wash, I think, because that space is there when I insert the bump later.
Hey, we had a lot of action on Twitter, starting with @AdonnaGirl.
Adonna Girl tweeted us, "There's an MCU character in this list." @Stitch Kingdom has the Ralph Breaks the Internet cast list. It's a really good cast list. It's a really good cast list. Actually, I'm looking at the cast list right now of all the people that are in it, all the voice actors, a bunch of people I recognize. But the one that I think people might be really excited for, Baby Groot, Vin Diesel. So we are having at least one MCU character in this movie.
That's awesome. And of course, Disney can do these great crossovers. I'm looking for the first Disney Star Wars Marvel crossover because you know it's coming at some point in time. And even though Star Wars had pulled back on their production of main stuff, you just know that at some point in time, they're going to, even if it's one of the animated cartoons that they throw out, you know, there's going to be some kind of a crossover.
Oh, hey, Jennifer Hale is Cinderella.
Jennifer Hale. Oh,
Jennifer Hale, by the way,
favorite.
is the newest Overwatch hero. So hype about that.
Well, that's great, especially since we haven't gotten too much of her in the other main property that she's part of recently.
So Cajun Sean had something to say about SP.
Listening to episode 231, SP sounds like a member of the IOA.
Hey now, not all IOA members were bad. Ricardo, he actually came back and ran Atlantis, so there can be some saviors in the IOA.
Sean, it took us forever to figure out. We were like, IOA, I know what that is. I know what that is. I know what that is. Frantic Googling. And then like, Stargate, Robert Picardo. Got it.
For those that are missing what's going on here, the IOA was the international committee that oversaw Stargate operations in the latter part of the TV universe of Stargate. So I think there's not going to be an IOA in any future of Stargate. I think there's not going to be an IOA in any future iterations of Stargate because, well, they're not going back to that, unfortunately. But that's a story for a different day.
At Born to Eat Bacon asked us a question.
Born to Eat Bacon said, what are your feelings about the return of the Uncanny X-Men / X-Men Black? Have you read any of the one-offs leading up to it? And there's this whole conversation, but let's ask on this podcast, have any of us been reading it?
Michelle?
No.
I have not either. I've just recently, within the past few months, beginning of the summer, really, I've cut back on a lot of the mutant books that I was getting on Marvel. Matter of fact, books in general, just because of the issues with Marvel. The stories were cliche-ish. The art was really dropping off, and it just didn't seem to be something that I wanted to read on a weekly basis. Wasn't getting out of it what I was pushing in. So the only mutant book that I'm still receiving is Domino, but everything else I'm gotten rid of.
I will be picking up at some point the issues that Sean and McGuire wrote, because she's one of my favorite writers. I've met her several times. She's amazing. And her life's goal was to write for X-Men. I just haven't had the chance yet because I've been very busy.
What series is she writing for?
Right now she's writing for Spider-Gwen.
Okay.
But she's also for Spider-Gwen.
Been a while since we deleted a
For Spider-Gwen.
Okay.
But she's also written several episodes of X-Men Black. She wrote X-Men Black Mystique. She wrote, oh my God, Scott Aukerman wrote X-Men Black Mojo.
I have gotten Spider-Gwen, so I have seen her stuff.
Yeah, she's one of my favorite authors. She's written as Shonda McGuire. She writes the October Day series as Mira Grant. She writes the Newsflesh series. She writes the Newsflesh She writes the Newsflesh series.
Not perfect, but I'm going to run with it. And that is because of the S sound. I'm able, because the waveform is so condensed, I can cut it whenever, and it's not going to sound like it's a cut unless there's a tonal difference. There's a slight tonal difference here, but I don't think anybody's going to really key in on that.
She writes the Newsflesh series. Those are her big series. She also writes just several other small, other series and other series. other series and other standalone books, all amazing. Her writing is fantastic. And like I said, as long as I've known of her, she's a huge fan of Emma Frost. Like the very first time I ever met her, we squealed about X-Men. And she's always said, it's my life goal to write X-Men. She is finally writing X-Men, and I could not be happier for her. So over the holidays, I'm going to be picking up all the X-Men books that she's written and reading them. But just over the past year, I've been really, really angry at Marvel Comics. She's written and reading them. Over the past year,
Leave that butt in.
But over the past year, I've been really, really angry at Marvel Comics and haven't bought that many from them. Comics and haven't bought that many from
I'm purchased.
comics and haven't bought that many from them. So over the holidays, I'm going to be like, okay, what do I honestly really want to read?
Yeah.
And going over, but for time reasons, for money reasons, I haven't been picking them up.
Yeah, in a future podcast, I might get a list together of everything that's still in the podcast. I might get a list together of everything that's still on my pull list, and we might go over that if you guys want to, but we don't have to.
But yes, take this as an endorsement of anything Shannon McGuire writes. Shannon McGuire. Pro follow on Twitter. Absolute amazing follow on Twitter. Absolute amazing writer. Just fantastic. So good.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. So good.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason I need to do the agreement right there.
Fantastic. So good.
All right. In the spirit of my favorite fight scene ever, we are going to fly the drone and get this one out.
That I will leave in. So I'm not announcing the change in the segment. I'm going ahead and just leading into it. I mean, that's a perfect segue right there.
Fly the drone and get this one out.
So that's all that's left. There is 1 minute 41 seconds after a truncate silence. There's 1 minute 32 seconds left. Moving that over. And actually, I need to move that over further because I start talking right when that stops, just because it's key there. Oh, I'm so tempted to go to the end. I'm not going to do it. We'll get there when we get there.
Thanks everybody that has been catching up, like Born to Eat Bacon and Cajun Sean, and listening to our episodes or listening to or reading the comics and asking us about it. Thank you very much for all that. We really appreciate the interaction. Don't forget, we have a Discord server which you can interact with us over there as well. That's gonnageek.com/Discord. Come on in, and we've been having a little bit of Marvel conversations, not only in the Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. channel, but also in the TV and film channel in there as well. So come join the fun.
Thank you to everybody who gets a hold of us. We love hearing from you. Thanks to everybody who's stuck with us for this long. I can't believe it's been just so many years at this point. Guys, we've been here a while.
Yeah, the podcast was officially started in the September timeframe in 2013. So
that's a really long time.
Yeah, the podcast is now 5 years old.
That's a really long time.
Yeah, the podcast is now 5 years old. Yeah.
I love you guys.
Yes, thank you to everyone who downloads us and listens to us or goes over to YouTube to watch our beautiful faces.
And they are indeed beautiful. Well, you ladies, of course, are beautiful. I am just passable. I'm here just the monkey flipping the switches. So in that space, until next time, I'm Director SP.
I'm Agent Lauren.
And I'm Consultant Michelle.
See you guys next time. Bye.
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 All right. 5 minutes almost to the second. So what we're going to do here And I'm going to go back to the template, and I'm just going to throw this in. Oh, wow. There's a specific spot that I like to throw this at, so we're going to find that spot and we're going to match it up.
Lauren.
And I'm consultant Michelle.
See you guys next time. Bye.
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 It's right there where the cursor is. I was pointing at the screen. You can't see me. It's pointing at the screen. So it's right there. And that I will move over to right after Michelle says bye. And that is how I end it.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. If you want to leave us feedback, go to gonnageek.com.
All right, we won't go through the end there. I will go in after the fact because I want to leave it a secret until I actually publish this, what the outtakes or the post-credit scenes or whatever you want to call them are. But that's it. That's the edit. That's the Audacity edit. Afterwards, I will save this as a WAV file. I will import that WAV file into iTunes, and I will use iTunes to convert it into an MP3 because Audacity, my version of Audacity, uses the lame MP3 encoder, which does degrade the audio a little bit. I've done a actual listening test between that and the Fraunhofer converter on Apple Podcasts or iTunes. Actually, it's a desktop version. I'm legally able to call it iTunes. And I'm able to create that MP3 file from there. And then I add the ID3 tags into it. I use the tag and rename. I've done all this before in a video, but I use tag and rename. And then I go ahead and input the show notes into everything and publish. Schedule to publish. In this case, I will schedule to publish because I will set it to publish tomorrow. I'm so close that I know I'm going to get this out tonight, which is really cool because I've been working on it forever. And that is how I will get it out. So if you have any questions about this, please let me know. In the meantime, gotta hit save, Scott. You gotta hit save. SP hits the save. There we go. That was the audio edit to Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. episode number 261. Next time, I will start the video edit of Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. episode 262, which was recorded on November 11th. After that, I will be caught up into modern time as it is. I will only be a week or two behind, not 2 months or so behind. So if you have any questions, I'm SP from Better Podcasting. Go ahead and leave your comment in the YouTube comment section on the video, and I will get back to you. But as long as you leave the time code of the YouTube video, I will be able to tell you I would be able to go to where you're talking about and give you a more precise answer. You can also catch me on Twitter at Stargate Pioneer. You can email me, stargatepioneer@gonnageek.com, or you can enter into our Gonna Geek Discord server by typing in gonnageek.com/discord, and that will give you an invite into the server. Thank you very much for watching. I do sincerely appreciate it, and hopefully it has been helpful to you. And if you like videos like this, go ahead and click the like button down below, as I know several of you have done already on my previous videos. Thank you very much. And then click subscribe to get informed of new videos as they come out. Have a great night, and I will see you all later. Bye.